What's up, everybody? It's Bryson Carter from the Journey Podcast. Just wanted to take a minute to clear up the fact that we are not professionals, and what you hear on this podcast is just opinions from people that really inspire me, and hopefully it'll bring the same amount of inspiration to you as well. But if you legit are struggling with depression or how you feel about yourself, please go see a professional. There are professionals out there that can help you, and we are not those professionals. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the podcast, and hopefully you guys can take something away from it that can help you on your day-to-day life journey.
And so my brother had to come to this understanding. I'm like, okay, God did this, took Poppy home, not took Poppy away.
Yeah.
And that was something that I think was obviously that doesn't apply to every hard time.
Welcome, Journey family, to episode number 8. Today I have with me Miss Claire Saunders, and I'm really excited to be able to interview her. How you been?
Pretty good. Pretty tired. Senior year's a lot, but it was fun. It's definitely been something I wasn't expecting, but it's definitely exciting. I'm ready to keep going with it, but I'm also kind of ready for it to be done because it's kind of stressful, but it's been fun.
That's awesome. Oh yeah, for sure. Ready to get life started a little bit.
Yeah. Ready for some independence, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, I have a list of questions here, and some of them will be harder to answer than others. So if it's like, just tell me to pass it or whatever if you don't want to answer it. But the first question I have, so in school you meet a lot of different people, some positive, some negative, some people that are like, you get vibes from people, so but from you, you've always seemed to be very like confident and positive, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. It's cool to see because you don't see it a lot anymore. So I want to ask you, what is your trick to staying positive a lot?
I think it definitely comes from my faith. I'm rooted in Christianity and making myself be Christ-like. I think that's definitely been something that's helped me to be perceived as like a confident and positive person. I also I took AP chemistry last year and definitely humbled me and definitely made me realize that grades are not all that matter.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to depict my grades after the fact. So I just kind of decide I can't mull over something anymore. So I think my trick is definitely just after things happen, let it go. Forgive, forget is definitely something that my mom's always taught me, because sometimes people do things without realizing it because of the place that they are in. So it doesn't depict you as a person, but it will if you let it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think
Yeah.
positivity has always just been something that my mom has always shown me, and my sister. And so my family's just a very yay! And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just fall right into line with them. And I think it's been something that's helped me a lot.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you definitely can see it for sure. And like in seventh period, we were just talking about the little while ago, last part of the day. Um, you're a lot better at the beginning, because at the beginning of the day, I'm like, yeah, let's go. But you still seem to be like that beginning day energy, and it's really cool to see. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I think mine's a little opposite. I'm definitely not a morning person. So I get into AP bio in the morning. So I'm just kind of whoo, okay.
Well, that's a rough one to start with. So yeah,
I don't know what my schedule is really kind of all over the place, but it's okay. I've learned to like it. I didn't like it at the beginning of the year, but now I'm kind of vibing with it because it does give me time to get all of my stuff done. And honestly, seventh period ends up being nice because it's oh, I don't really want to do this anymore. Let's just have a free period. I'm like,
yes, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I got a lot done in that class for sure.
yeah. I just read 15 pages and then I was like, okay, what am I gonna do now? What is here to do? I had nothing else to do. I was playing Block Blast. I have a Block Blast obsession. It's actually so bad. Literally, I'm in the middle of a game right now, and while I was waiting outside, I was playing Block Blast.
Oh yeah, no, that's no problem. I got into that game yet, but I've heard it's good.
It's great. It's a problem, but it's really addictive. I would never tell somebody to be like, yes, download Block Blast.
But kind of download it, you will experience it. Yes.
So if you're going to, I would never say undownload it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be like, hey, this new addiction just started on Block Blast. And let's go with Blast.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, yeah, for sure. And so I want to know, I just kind of move it along here. So a lot of people, so the people who are not positive, what would you suggest to them? Even and I know that's kind of hard to answer, but to people who you got the people like the victim mentality people and the people that are like, oh, this sucks or whatever. What would you suggest to them to like move in a positive direction?
I think that's definitely something where obviously I can't change how someone thinks or how someone feels about something. I think that's something where me being able to be positive shows them another viewpoint. I think having another perspective is something that's really important. Like personally, sometimes I can feel like I'm falling into like the victim mentality or falling into the, well, everything is just horrible and I'm never going to be what I want to be and I'm never going to get to where I want to get to and life sucks. And then I'm like, hey, actually, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I have friends who kind of keep me accountable for that.
Yeah.
And so I think definitely surrounding yourself with people who are positive is something that helps you to stay positive or to get out of the wall and be like have a different perspective on life. I think depending on where you are in life depends on if you're already positive, if you're being negative about something. I think my mom is really smart about saying like it's important to have friends and acquaintances in different parts of your life. I have a mentor through my church youth group and she's like 24, 25, something around there.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to be able to relate to on a lot of things that are happening in our lives, but because she's already been through high school and just like senior year in general, she's definitely been really influential on that. And she's been my mentor since I was probably like 12 or 13. So it's been super nice because I've been able to like grow up, I guess, with her in a way.
For sure.
Because honestly, of course, she's older than me, but I think I'm still able to influence her too.
Yeah.
I think she's told me that like she sees things in me that she saw in herself, and it's just like it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's definitely nice to have somebody from another like age group.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's cool. Yeah. Definitely like wanting to seek wisdom from people that's been through it is a really good way to like go forward. Yeah, that's awesome. So trying to think of how to word this question because it's kind of hard to word it, but like people who are like, oh, I know things, I know all like what I think is all right. Hmm. Those people, the people that need the mentors and stuff. Because I have a mentor, like my uncle, he with pilot stuff. He just got his pilot's license, so he's been able to help me through. Yeah, he's been able to help me through a lot of this stuff. But what would you suggest to people who are like very arrogant? I guess is the word. Who need to be like, oh look, I don't know everything, and it's okay not to know everything. Like you said, you are one of the most positive people I know, but yet you still struggle with victim mentality. That's okay. Like people struggle with stuff like that, and I know I do too. So what would you suggest to those people? Because you got to know what you are doing wrong in order to go forward with it.
Yeah, there's definitely been times in my own life where I've been kind of like, well, that's not the way to do it. The way I'm doing it is right. This is how it's supposed to be done kind of thing. And I think my dance teacher actually just recently called out a few girls in my class as like, hey, like you don't know everything. Or she's like, I don't know everything. I know I don't know everything. But when you are trying to tell me how my dance is and how I've choreographed stuff that is written down and is videoed, like there's no point in arguing it. It's kind of like I guess you could make it like a hypothesis. So you'd be like, oh, I think it's kind of like this. And then testing it out.
Yeah.
Like one person does one thing, one person does another. Like this morning on our bio check-in progress thing, my table, we were divided, half wanting one and half wanting the other. And we were like, okay, well, I think it's B, I think it's C.
Yeah.
And we are like, okay, well, half the table puts B, half the table puts C. We ended up all being wrong. It was actually A, but I think that is something to think about. Like, okay, you can try it your way, but if it doesn't work, obviously you need to try something else.
For sure.
And I think that's just kind of something that I've had to learn is like, I'm not going to be right all the time, even though I really want to be. I always feel like my mom and dad are always right. And so I'm like, oh my goodness, like I'm not right. Is it fair? Mom and dad are saying do this. And mom's like, hey, we're not always right either. But we've been through it already.
Yeah.
And so I think especially when people are being arrogant towards their elders is like, okay, well at that point, it's just kind of contradicting itself because they've probably already done that.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they're always right, but it definitely means to take what they're saying into consideration.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. So, being Christians, which I wasn't going to go into this question unless I knew that because I thought you were, but I wanted to make sure. So, the whole slogan of the Summit Church, which is where we go, which is, I love the Summit, but it's not a plug for the Summit Church. Your church is awesome, wherever you go. But we're called to love first. And so sometimes it's hard though, because people are not going to treat you right all the time. And so, what would you suggest to people like me? Because I need this encouragement too. And I know everybody does to be able to treat people with kindness and love first, regardless of if they treat you the same way, and be able to show them what it should be.
Yeah, I think that's also been something I've struggled with growing up, especially like being the youngest sibling. I've always kind of felt like, well, they're doing everything right, and I don't have to do anything because they're gonna just do it for me, kind of thing. And like me and my brother were always kind of fighting when we were younger. As we got older, we started to realize, hey, like I actually really like you.
Yeah.
You're actually such a chill dude. It was cool. But we used to actually come to Summit Church when we were younger. So I have a t-shirt that says love first on the front. It's what my mom was always like, if you wear that shirt, you better show that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I also have a shirt that says my church is better than bacon. So I mean, they really got the short down here for sure.
Yeah.
But we during COVID ended up watching a lot of the Summit stuff. Sorry, I'm like kind of plugging your church, but
No, dude. Perfect.
they're kind of killing it with the love first slogan. I think that's something that's really important. But we watched a lot of them, and my mom afterwards would be like, did you listen to the service? Like, if me and my brother or my sister or something kind of got into an argument and nobody wanted to be the bigger person, it was like, okay, well, y'all need to remember the service. Like, you've got to love each other before you love whatever we're arguing over. Like, I'm pretty sure with the bigger cookie or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was actually talking about this with my dance teacher yesterday, is that we're called to love. Being Christians, being people who are trying to be Christ-like. It's important to love everybody, no matter who they are, what they identify as, or any of that kind of stuff. Because I have these friends, they have a million children in their family. But I've grown up with them. I love them all. And I have never really actually talked with their parents. I feel like they're a little closed off to that kind of stuff. But I was with my dance teacher last night, and she was like, that's something where you just have to love them even though you don't fully know them.
Yeah.
Like, I know what their names are and stuff, but I don't know anything really about them because it's kind of like they're closed off. So like, it can be people who are too open and people who are too closed off. Is like, I think it's harder to be able to love them first, but knowing that this is something I'm called to do, like, it's something that's important to me, is like remembering to love first. Sometimes it is harder than other times because sometimes people really drag me up the wall. I keep seeing these things. It's like, okay, you just told me I'm really representing Jesus. Like, you can see Jesus in me, but I also have the holy fist, like, ready to go. I'm like, that's so real. Like, it's always in the back of my mind. Like, do you need, like, sometimes I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to breathe and pray, and we're just going to hope for the best.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I definitely fall into the pattern of being like, ugh, I can't stand you, so I'm not going to even talk to you.
Yeah, I get that for sure.
I think it's important to remember to love everybody. I think nowadays it's so split between politics, which is so annoying because you can love someone no matter like where they stand and who they think is better, and like if they support this, if they support that. And I think it's just everybody is so divided. And I think if everybody would just kind of show a little bit of love, I think there's a song about it. It's like, just a little bit of love, and it'll go a long way. It really will.
For sure.
Like, obviously, I haven't been around for all that long. I'm only 18, but in my 18 years, I've definitely seen how much love can do. Like, in 4th grade, I had this teacher who was just absolutely amazing, and she showed love first through everything she did. I was like, okay, this is when I realized, like, okay, I'm definitely going to want to do this when I'm older, because I want to go into elementary education, because I think kids need to know like what it is to be loved, because not everybody gets that at home, unfortunately. Like that is something that people don't get, which is so sad, but it's definitely something that our world struggles with.
Yeah.
And so I've always wanted to be like Miss Fisher. If anybody like who used to go there, I love her. She actually passed away from
Mm.
a bunch of different things, but a stroke. She had like a stroke and stuff.
Oh man,
This is terrible. Young. It was really sad, but it was honestly like she had done what God had called her to do. She had loved first. She had shown what it means to be Christian. She had represented that so well in her life. And I think it was definitely like what she was called to do is done. And she gets to go home now. And that was something that my mom had told me, and I just sat there and bawled because I was like, I want to be just like her. I want to be able to show that. I want to, and I don't really want to pass away at 29, but I want to be able to show that love and
sure.
represent what it is to be Christian in a world where it is hard to be Christian. Like it is. Everything is just kind of like, yeah, I mean, you could be Christian, but you could also do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to stick in my faith and keep going this way. But like sometimes people who I was friends with at one point are going a different direction. It's just kind of like, okay, what they look like they're having so much more fun, but it's just kind of like fun in the moment.
Yeah.
But not fun for your life.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. Excuse me. And I'm sorry about the loss. That's tough. I know.
Yeah. It was rough. It was during COVID, and then like not long after I actually ended up losing my puppy. So I was like, man, this is horrible. Get out of this whole COVID thing. I don't like it anymore. But
Well, I'm sorry about that. That's tough. But you're a strong person though, which is cool. Because I mean, you doing that in more ways than you think you are for sure. And I know that's hard to see. Like as a person, you don't see what impact you're making on people. But there's been several people that have told me, and one reason why I had interviewed you was they're like, yeah, she's just really bubbly and positive, and it's like it's awesome, it's cool,
that's
and
sweet.
yeah,
That's like really reassuring.
Yeah.
Especially like
yeah,
I'm like super stressed right now when it comes to everything in school and
Yeah.
like trying to figure out what I want to do and where I want to go. Like obviously I know what I want to do, but like how I want to go about it is kind of like, okay, where do I want to go to school?
yeah,
Where do I like hello? And also it's just like financial stuff with school. School is high school has like been great, but I'm ready to go to college, but it's kind of like I need the money to go to college. Actually, it's really
yeah.
So
I guess that.
nice to hear that. Like
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, we need assurance sometimes. You don't know what you're doing right, and so
Yeah.
especially when you get in those times where it's like we were talking about here about like loving first when it's hard. I needed that reminder this past week with people who have been like. I think I listened to a song like maybe a day ago. I love music. Music like speaks to me a lot,
yeah.
and so it was just like a kind of a wake up call. Like, dude, you're going in the wrong direction here. You need to get back on track. So you need the assurance sometimes for sure, especially when life gets stressful.
Yeah.
But
And I think something that I always do, like when I start to get stressed, like my devotion starts to become like a backhand thing. Like if I have extra time before I go to bed, I'll do my devotion. But then I realize it in my action and the way I'm thinking. And I'm like, okay, I've got to get back on track with this. I think recently it's been like I was trying to finish up all my dual enrollment classes because thank goodness I'm done with this thing is actually so insane. Doing it all online has definitely been hard, but I pushed my devotion to the side, and I think my mom was talking to me not that long ago, and she was like, "Hey, have you done your devotion in a while?" And I was like, that was a wake up call for me.
Yeah.
Like, hey, it's not really a works based faith, but it is something that keeps me in my faith.
Yeah.
And keeps me reassured that, like, okay, God does have a plan for me wherever I do end up. Like, it's where I'm supposed to go. Like, wherever I get the most money, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
I also recently, okay, I'm one of those people who's like, well, I just don't know because he's not telling me. He's not telling me what I'm supposed to do. And I'm a very planned out person. I don't like that I don't know the plan. But recently I was talking with someone and they're like, "Hey, you're looking for a sign." And what you need to understand is that sometimes a sign does not come physically, but emotionally, and how, like, I had a bunch of interviews, and with one school I was interviewing, it just flowed really easy, and with school, it was just kinda like, I felt like I couldn't say what I wanted to actually say because I wanted to say what they wanted to hear. And so it was just kinda like okay, well, is that how you feel about the school in general? Like, it's just kinda like that kinda thing. So I obviously have been praying about it and waiting to hear back from her a lot of things, and so we'll see where it goes from there. But I think that was something that was really important, is to understand that a sign is not always a physical sign. Like, exactly, okay, here's a note of exactly how it's supposed to go. And I'm just kind of like, okay, this makes more sense now.
Yeah, and it can be hard because God has a way of being like, of making you think you're supposed to go one way, and then be like, nope, you're going that way.
It's just meeting. We're for this one.
Yeah, but it's awesome though, and I get the whole planned out thing. I like to plan things too, so it can be hard with like not knowing, like what you were saying, just because you want to be successful. I mean, some people don't care about being successful, but being the people that you and I are, like, we want to be successful. That's just, the way it should be too. But so it could be hard not to know like where you're going, but for sure, that's awesome.
And like right now, everybody's putting their enrollment deposits down and like applying for housing. And I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to live on campus. And I was like, well, it's required to live on campus, so they better figure something out. Like, I know, but like, it's just like little things.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, hey, so, and both of my siblings, my brother knew exactly where he wanted to go,
Mm,
and it was definitely a God thing
yeah.
because he had gone to this presidential scholarship thing. Mom and dad, for some reason that morning, just thought, okay, we're gonna bring the checkbook. We're just gonna bring the checkbook, see what happens.
Yeah.
Because there's obviously, like, had a sense like, okay, we're probably gonna put this deposit down. And my brother came out of his scholarship meeting, his little interview. He came up to mom and dad and he was like, I think this is where I'm supposed to be. And like, I told mom, I was like, I want that moment. And
Yeah.
she was like, you might. She's like, you also might not.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, for real.
that might be what it is. And my sister wanted to go for volleyball, so she went to a small little private college. Um, and that was exactly where she was supposed to be too. And so like obviously I know like wherever I end up and wherever my friends end up, that's where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
But it's definitely hard when people keep asking you, where are you going to school next year? And I'm like, actually, I don't know yet.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
No. I'm like, okay, all right, don't, it's fine. Like, so many people don't have regular decision kids haven't even found out yet.
Yeah.
But I guess because people know, I'm just like, I like to plan ahead. It's
Yeah.
kind of like oh, you don't?
Yeah.
Sure good. Oh, I don't know. We're going to figure that out when
Yeah,
it gets there. But yeah.
that's cool. What would you tell those people to help them, the people that have victim mindsets?
It's a really great question. I think that's definitely something that's dependent upon the person.
Yeah.
It, I mean, when I'm talking to, let's say it's someone that's my friend who is fallen into a victim mindset, I would probably be like, more like pointing it out and saying, hey, like, this is where you are right now. I think this is something that needs to be addressed. I think addressing it is the first big thing. Like, oh, I am falling into, oh, poor things.
Yeah.
You know, a little, like that. I think addressing it is definitely the first thing, the first step. I think from there, it's just kind of like you have to realize it when it happens. You have to change that action. I personally, what I do is I like start praying about it and praying about it. I don't realize how much I fall into it until somebody else in my friend group says something. I'm in a very, like, we're all Christians. We all take our faith very seriously friend group.
That's cool.
And so they'll be like, hey, dude, do you realize? I'm like, yeah. I'm glad you said something. I was starting to feel something. I was like thinking I was going crazy.
That's
So,
awesome, man. Yeah, that's a good friend group. That's cool. Yeah. Oh, and it can be easy to do. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll just go to the mirror and just like talk to myself and be like, yo, what are you doing? To be like, oh, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think sometimes it kind of feels like when you fall into a bad routine of just like victimizing yourself and making yourself priority and like all of these things, it just kind of you as a person, like you don't feel good.
No,
Like
definitely.
you don't want to get up, you don't want to do something. Like it starts veering towards like a depressed state. And I think a lot of people just refuse to say they're depressed, especially being religious.
Yeah.
Because if you have Jesus, then you can't be depressed. But that's really not how it works. And my sister actually is going into um psychological sports applied psych. Um and she is like, this is crazy because you don't understand it as well as you could until like you're studying it. And my sister's like, you don't see it from your own perspective as well as somebody looking in can see it. And that's why it's so important to have people close to you who
For sure.
do tell you the truth and like,
Yeah.
hey, like, you're falling into this. But personally during COVID, when I had nobody to socialize with and it was just my family, at some point I had just reached a point where I was just like completely down in the dumps. And that was when I was like, okay, my sister has told me multiple times something is not right here with you personally. And that's when I was like, okay, I gotta wake up and realize like, okay, I'm not where I should be and I'm not following God how I should.
Yeah.
I'm not pursuing a relationship with him, and that was something that I had to
Yeah.
turn the other direction.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, there's a lot of the strong people who are going through things they won't, they're not gonna say like, which, um, to those people, like it's like I want to be able to. I'm not qualified to help those people, but I want to so badly. I think just showing the love too, and a lot of those people will. And it's like I had no idea that you were going through something. It's just making sure that they know that people are there for them.
I think every now and then, like a little reminder to someone, like honestly, a little compliment can go a long way. I actually have had people like walk past me in the hallway. I'll be like, "Hey, like, I love your shoes. Hey, your hair looks great today," or like they'll say it back to me, and that makes my day. And I know that's probably made theirs too,
That's awesome.
because sometimes people are just they put on this front that they are perfectly fine
Mm-hmm.
when they really are not.
Yeah.
But you don't know.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something, like, personally, I've been one to do it,
Mm-hmm.
but recently I've definitely shown my true colors in my house, and my mom's like, "Hey, what is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Actually, I'm just stressed. I'm sorry." And she's like, "That's fine. Like, it's okay to be stressed. It's okay to, like, feel everything.
Mhm.
I don't think it's okay to take it out on other people,
No, definitely not.
but it's
Exactly how to do it.
definitely
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
definitely something you gotta figure out and address and turn the other way."
For sure. Yeah. And people express it in different ways. Like mine, I think my music changes. So Allie or my mom and dad be like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing. I'm just listening to music." And they're like, "No, but you listen to a certain type of music." So that's
Like, but we can hear it.
that,
We can do that too.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. That's awesome. Okay, so this one I wrote this question um because I think that it's important for people to know this because I do a lot of things to push myself just because I wasn't always like the guy that would talk to people or the positive guy. I wasn't that way. If you knew me in ninth or eighth grade or something like that, I wasn't that guy.
I'm gonna be for real.
Yeah.
I didn't know Allie had a brother. I did not.
See that precisely. That's the yeah.
And she's like my twin brother, and I was like, yeah, it's twin brother. And she's like, yeah, Bryson. And I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. That was the kind of
You were very like you. Every time I talked to you, you were super nice, but I didn't know you were related to Allie.
yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, for real. And that was the kind of guy I was. I was very quiet. I'm still more quiet, but I'm like I can be able to talk to people, and I'm more confident to talk to people just because of what I've pushed myself to do.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, especially like in the mornings, not seventh period because I'm still working on that part. But they're like, how you positive? How you keep going and do all these motivational quotes and just see the bright in the day, whatever. And they don't. Some people don't see the point. And so, what would be, in your opinion, the point of being positive?
I think it's definitely something that helps me get through my day.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to go to school for 7 hours, that's for sure. But if I wake up with that mentality, then throughout the rest of my day, it's just going to be a bad day
Mm-hmm.
every day. And I cannot do that here. If I'm going to have a bad day every day, it better be because something horrible has happened in my life and I just cannot fathom the idea of having a good day. But a lot of people feel that way no matter what. And that's kind of where I've been like, okay, well, I want to have a good day. Like there will be some weeks where my friend Lila will get into the car with me. I'll turn to Lila, I'm like, this is me the best week ever. And it's just, you got that. You have fun with that. I'm like, but you walk into the thick with like this is gonna be such a horrible week. These it's 5 whole days of going to school and
Yeah.
a very mundane, same old, same old.
Yeah.
I think walking in with that is like hey, like
Yeah.
you ruined your own week
Yeah.
and nothing has happened yet. And especially like Sunday morning, you go to church. I'm like, yes, start my week off great. Then Monday morning, I'm like, no way, I have to go to school right now. No way, I woke up at 6:30 and I already have to leave for school in like an hour. Okay,
Yeah.
like okay,
It's crazy.
here we go. Going to school this week. But if I decide like it's gonna be a bad week, then it does end up being a bad week because I've decided it.
Yeah.
It's whatever you put into your own head.
Yeah.
And like my mom always says, she's like, have a great day, sweetie. And I'm like, I will. But like on the weeks when I don't say I will, then I've decided I'm not gonna have a good day. I've decided I'm not going to. And I think that's where I'm like, hey, the point is so that way I do my personal best because I do better when I'm happy, when I have joy,
Yeah.
and when I'm positive. I think that's what honestly, that's what helps me get my good grades at this point. I'm like, okay, Lord, this be a great week, please. And
Yeah.
it's also like I pray about it, but it's also like okay, you have to put it in your head. Because if you pray about it and don't do anything to keep it going,
Yeah. For real. Yeah. And
what are we doing?
I absolutely love that, by the way, because I'm all about the mentality thing. You also annoy a lot of people, like, when you do that, like, I do. I'm not saying for me, someone like me, like, I appreciate that. But somebody be like, "Oh, I just don't think I can do that." I'm like, "But why not?"
Don't
Yeah. Yeah, so it's some people won't understand it, and you'll find the people that do, and those people will be good friends. The people that will actually support that. And I know people's gone through some bad things, and it's hard to tell those people to be positive because of that. But yeah, life is too short to not enjoy your day.
Yes, life is
Yeah.
so short, and
Yeah.
I've just never found a point in being like sad over every minor inconvenience. If I cried every time I did not do what I wanted to do on a math test, I would have tears flowing at least once a week. Like we got our quarter test back today, and I did not. I studied, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna kill this test. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
It wasn't, but then
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't. We got our multiple choice results back yesterday. I was like, oh, that's not what I thought I was gonna do. I told the girl next to me, and I was like, so she's like, yeah, no. It's like, yeah, that was not my brightest moment. But once I got out of math, I was like, okay, it's behind me. It's already done. Like I can't change my grade.
No.
And so I just kind of like, life short, be happy,
Yeah.
get a sweet treat.
Yeah, for real. That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. It's cool. Okay, let's switch gears to the confidence side of things. Because 4 years ago, or I guess it was 4 years ago. I'm not gonna do the math right now. I already did math earlier, so
Not real.
yeah.
Math,
But yeah,
I'm done with math.
yeah, for real. I was kind of in a bad spot with confidence, just like, and who I was and stuff. And it's definitely changed, but from people who have helped me change that. What would you suggest to people who find it? Because you have a lot of confidence yourself, or if you don't, you really hide it well. Because, yeah. But what would you suggest to people who have a hard time finding the confidence in themselves?
Well, see, I was also like a really out there kid. I've always been loud,
Mm.
is what it is. Honestly, I think sometimes I don't feel confident at all, but I'm loud. So people are, she's so confident. I'm like, thank you. Actually, I'm dressed to the nines and I'm scared to be in front of you right now, but I'm loud. And I think that's something I definitely do get like nervous a
Yeah.
lot, but I think being able to, my dance here, we have this little little thing where we just kind of like we shake out the nerves. If anybody's seen Dance Moms, it's the little dance mom
Oh yeah,
thing.
yeah. I've definitely heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a crazy show. I'm not a huge reality TV person, but I I loved that show. No, it was like it was kind of crazy. I was like, okay, but I think sometimes I do just gotta have to pretend like I'm being confident.
Yeah.
But I think if you're not confident in yourself, is when you start to kind of hide away and shy away from
Yeah.
doing what you want to do or like what you think you should do. I think starting and finding like honestly, I think because I grew up in faith, I've been able to be more confident.
Yeah.
Like my mom has always taught us to just be happy, be you, and show love to others and go out there and just spread the good news through your actions. And so I've always just kind of grown up in a house that's been like, hey, be friends with everybody, everyone loves everyone kind of thing. And I think also, honestly, I was a kid that kind of grew up playing with the kids in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
So it was always like a new kid moved into the house next door. I'm gonna go introduce myself and be friends with them. That's cool. I think that honestly, a lot of the stuff that I did younger, as I was younger,
Yep.
has helped me to be able to be more confident now. I think sometimes too much confidence can be a bad thing because then sometimes confidence can lead to like arrogance.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've also had to learn. But I think when you are shying away from stuff, it's like you just have to kind of step out of your comfort zone. And I know that's hard, but I think that's when you take a friend to do it with you.
Yeah.
At my church we do youth led Sunday. And so there's one person that always does our announcements, but the first time he did those announcements, he was terrified. So
Oh,
we
really?
did them with somebody else. And now the people want him. They're like, "Hey, is he gonna do announcements next week? Because he's a squiddy."
That's awesome.
And I think it's important
Yeah.
to push yourself out of out of that comfort
For sure.
because
Yeah.
being comfortable means you are not moving.
That's actually really good. I like that.
Oh,
That's awesome.
you.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay. Yeah. So pushing yourself.
hmm
The awkward silence is just me thinking. But yeah. Um. Yeah. There's That's uncomfortable. A lot of people like don't want to do that because of the uncomfort, and then a lot of people wonder why things aren't happening for them. But taking small steps, that's something definitely worth it. So, what would you say would be some of the necessary steps for becoming more confident?
I don't really have steps. Like,
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
I think it's all in how you perceive
Yeah.
everything. And I don't think you can just choose. I think you can choose, but I don't think you can just fix it right away.
Yeah.
I think everybody wants to fix it right away. Everybody has a fix it now mentality,
Yeah.
but confidence is something that comes with time.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, like, obviously, I just said that a lot of my confidence came to when I was a kid in the neighborhood. And obviously, I'm not really playing outside, riding my bike in the neighborhood with the kids
Yeah.
anymore. Um, but I think the fix it now thing is really what makes people feel like, well, I can't do it.
Mm.
I can't push myself out of my comfort zone because I did it once and it didn't work.
Yeah.
But doing something once is never enough.
No.
It's like oh, I tried it. I'm like, but did you try it for longer than a day? Like it has to be a significant amount of time before
Yeah.
you realize, okay, I'm starting to gain confidence. I think the only step that I have in mind is just to continue to push yourself out
Yeah.
of that
Mhm.
comfort and to keep going with that same thing. It's like medicine takes more than a day to work. It's like
Yeah.
2 week thing. And so
Yeah. For sure.
like mentality works that way too.
Yeah.
It can't change in one day. I mean, I think a lot of people feel like it can because they're like, well, I had a bad day yesterday, but I had a great day today. Like, okay, but that was because you changed how you thought about it.
Yeah. For real. That's awesome. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. What would you say to the people who going through the actual hard times, the people that have a right to complain about it.
Mhm.
But you got the people who complain about something just for attention.
Yeah.
Then you got the people.
My word, the people that complain about every minor inconvenience. I
Yeah.
I try so hard to be nice to everybody around me, but sometimes I'm like, "Oh Lord, give me grace, give me mercy, and bring back my joy, because I cannot.
Yeah.
I cannot like."
Yeah.
I understand it. Sometimes every minor inconvenience feels like horrid,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes it's just kind of like, "Oh, hey,
Yeah.
it is what it is. Just keep going. You'll be fine. You'll grow in the end."
Yeah.
Then you're like, "Cool." Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
see, it's like it drives you up the wall.
No, I've struggled with my filter with that because people will do that and be like, "What is positive about this situation?" or something. Like what's going good for you? But I gotta work on that too. Be a little bit more tactful with people who are like that.
Just sometimes I just do not have like I just can't find the grace.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard sometimes. Yeah.
My sister's always like, I always have the grace because her best friend's name is Grace. So she's like, if I have grace, then I have grace. And I'm like, well, that's adorable. I don't have a grace. Let me find one of those.
That's funny. That's awesome. Yeah. But yeah, so what would you say to the people who are, and if you don't want to answer this question, that's completely fine. And I say it, I'll have like a little thing at the beginning of this. We are not professionals. So if you need
Melina.
legitimate help, like please go see a professional. But is your take about the people who are legitimately going through a hard time? What would be your take about how they could be like, find something to hold on to for hope or positivity or like confidence and just like what you strive to be, but for people who can't see it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that made sense, but
I think I'm getting that
yeah.
what you're saying. But my brother actually shared a time in his life for his testimony, like his senior year, so a few years ago. But he did an expressing of faith, as it was written in the bulletin. I was like, "Oh, that's so fancy." But he talked about, like, when we went through the loss of our puppy, how my brother was like, "There's nothing good. There's nothing good from this. Like, this is somebody who showed me what it meant to love his wife and love his family and be a grandparent and be a father."
Yeah.
He was like, "It's not fair."
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, he just was like, why would a God do something so horrible to a family who's so nice? And that was something he really struggled with. But
Yeah.
also, I promise I'm not sharing like my brother's deep, dark secrets. It's on my church's YouTube.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
already out there in the world. But that was something he really struggled with.
Yeah.
And that was a hard time for him because that was somebody who he did look up to. And I think for him, it was more of a like he had to find an understanding
Mm.
because like my mom said with Miss Fisher, like her time, she had done what she needed to do. She had done everything God had planned for her to do. God already knew she was going to do it in 29 years.
Yeah.
Well, Poppy did it in however long he lived. I don't know. I actually don't know the ages of any of my grandparents. That's my one little problem when it comes to ages. I just don't know the adults' ages. I also have like no idea of age. Like I got
That's okay. Most of them won't tell you. So you're.
okay. Well, let's get past 40. I'm like, I don't really know how old you are, but over 40, I guess. But like, and so my brother had to come to this understanding. I'm like, okay, God did this, took Poppy home, not took Poppy away.
Yeah.
And that was something that I think was obviously like that doesn't apply to every hard time,
Yeah.
but understanding that when it comes to loss is definitely something that helps. It doesn't fix it. It doesn't make the hard time easier, but I think understanding it goes a lot farther than one might think it does.
Wow, that's really good.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks.
And I'm sorry for y'all's loss, but that's yeah. Wow. Um yeah. That's I got like I don't really know what to say to respond to that. Like that's really good. And I don't really know that I do. I think that really closed that off well. So I got two final questions for you. And this is but we did like almost 50 minutes. I don't know if it felt that way.
50?
50, yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, time flies by with the podcast, for sure.
That's crazy. Yeah, what? Who's texting me? Oh, Slyla. That's always Slyla.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, I got two final questions for you. And I ask this question at the end of every podcast because I think it really captures what people were and where they're going and like just being able to reflect on yourself. So the question, I call it the younger self question. And so if you were able to meet any age of yourself that's younger from, I guess, elementary school to where you are now, and you were only able to meet them one time, but I know this changes, but until like what the life that you've lived up until this point, what would be the three messages that you would give to her before you never saw her again?
Oh my goodness. Um, I would definitely try to talk to my 8th grade self because it was right before high school. I'm trying to finish out middle school. And now I'm trying to finish out high school. And it was definitely a time where I had understood what it meant to have anxiety and be anxious about what is to come and just life in general and like how people perceive me and all the things. But I would definitely, one of the things I would definitely tell her is that like what you do today, nobody will remember by the time you graduate. So just be yourself.
Yeah.
I think I was so caught up in how everybody saw me because people are mean. People are so mean. And that was hard to understand that, like, okay, well, the mean people aren't the people that are supposed to be in your life.
Yeah.
Like, they're not the people you're supposed to hang out with 24/7.
Absolutely.
And I'm still learning some of that now, but I would definitely tell her just like, being yourself goes so much farther than pretending to fit in with people who aren't the best people.
Yeah.
That's definitely something I would tell her. I would also tell her that like, hey, COVID does end actually, and you do get to get out of your house and hang out with people other than your brother and sister.
Yeah.
Because even my sister, she was in college, but I was on FaceTime with her fairly often. Like,
Yeah.
it was because mom was already talking with her or whatnot because she had to go to, they called it COVID jail, where if you got COVID in college, you were isolated in like there was one set of dorms that had nobody in it.
Oh, right.
For COVID jail. So my sister, whenever she was stuck in there, I think it was like once or twice, she's like, I'm stuck forever. I'm like, it's 10 days. You'll make it, I promise. She's like, I have nobody. Her best friend would be in the room next door. I'm literally knocking to Grace right now. You know, like the little, like, I don't know, try like do a Morse code or something. I don't know. But I think definitely like telling her that you will be able to find those friends.
Yeah.
Because I think when you do tell someone, hey, like, you don't need to be friends with people who are not nice.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, who am I going to be friends with? Because I have nobody else other than these people that I just kind of ended up with.
Yeah.
But I think it's like, okay, well, you'll find your other people. You'll find your people.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's something that I'm still learning now is like, sometimes the people who I thought were like the best people ever, like you get a different view of them when everything starts to get stressful.
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, okay, this is who you are as a person, and like, do I want to become that?
Yeah.
And then also just like be joyful, be happy.
Yeah.
Like you're young, have fun. There's nothing stopping you from living life to its fullest. And I think I was always very I would shy away from doing the fun things because like, oh, I get injured.
Yeah, Bertha, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, because at this point I've already broken bones. Like, what's the next, like, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I think that's the key there too. Being able to like what's stopping you? Like name one thing. You know.
One thing that is stopping you from being a nice person.
Yeah.
From helping somebody out. Like, that's always something that my mom's like, well, what stopped you? What stopped you from helping your brother with that?
Yeah.
Why didn't you? And I'm like,
That's awesome.
because I was being selfish. And that's something that a lot of things come back to now.
Yep.
It's like, selfishness is. It is a problem.
It's a beast for sure. Yeah, because we all face it and we don't really know it until somebody's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Yeah, for real. That's crazy. Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, my last question for you is how can I help you? Because there's a lot of like another pet peeve of mine is like these people that are like, "Hey, I'm with these people and I'm with these people because we're living life, you know, and we should be able to help each other no matter what you believe, you know. I mean, that's part of loving first. So how can I help you be your best just like you had me?"
This is like really like deep question. um, I think honestly, just kind of like being yourself and being positive. Like I feel like sometimes in seventh period, someone will say something. I'm like, everybody's crazy. I'm like, Bryson, did you hear that? Like sometimes I'll like eye contact as you across the way, and like, okay, so I'm not the only one going crazy in here.
Yeah. Oh, for real. Yeah.
Like sometimes people say things in that, and I'm like, there's no way you will just say that. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
like that class is actually crazy. I mean, it's definitely interesting. It's definitely an interesting way to end the day, but
Yeah.
I think just being yourself and showing others, like being like a loving person, I definitely see that in the hallways and how you carry yourself. I think it's reassuring to go to school and see somebody who is actively loving other people first and actively showing what it means to live life for God and to walk and be more Christ-like and walk through him and building a relationship with him. I think that's definitely something that I can tell from the way you carry yourself and like how you talk to others. I think sometimes people are like, that guy, like he's like got a lot going for him. I'm like, I know. Like I wish some more people would actually talk to him and get that. Like some people, I feel like some people are scared of us because we're seniors.
Yeah.
They're like, huh? Like that Bryson, he's like 17, I'm just like 14. I'm like, no, like he's fine, like he's so nice. Like just go talk to him. Kind of situation. I think you had brought something over for Allie at the Falcon Nets, and they were like, kid is so old. And I'm like, no, it's Bryson. Well, nothing to fear. He's literally just a dude that's a slightly bit older than you. I think it's reassuring to see somebody else in the hallway who does care for others and isn't completely and totally wrapped up in how do I look right now? Do I have my hair good? Like, is my outfit stylish? Like, am I walking right? And I'm like, so I just think it's nice to see somebody else who's just kind of like, hey, I'm here if you need me, and knowing to have somebody there that you can talk to whenever about something random or something important. Like, it's just, I think it's definitely nice to have
Yeah.
a reassuring person.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, and same for you. Like literally, like it's no, I really do appreciate that. It can be hard to be like, I don't know if I'm doing the right things all the time, and I don't get it right. Like there's well, I mean, I don't think none of us get it right all the time, you know. But yeah, but you know, having people like you as well, I really appreciate the way that you're able to just be yourself and be like very positive. That's definitely something that I take to heart more than anything. I was like, I was, I don't know, yeah, but where was I at? Yeah, anyway, it was like to see you be able to be that way is I do take it to heart because for me it's like I try to look at people and learn from people because I'm definitely not the type of guy that always I actually struggle with seeing what I do right sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I'm definitely the opposite. I've had to like work on that. So it's yeah, but that's really sure. And I appreciate the kind words too. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it. Absolutely. We try to get more people like you on the podcast for sure. Get positive out there. So positivity. So
Trust
I really
me, for
appreciate
being the word. Go watch the podcast. This is a great episode.
it. I appreciate it. Yeah. Well, Journey family, that wraps up episode number 8. I appreciate you guys for watching. And the quote of the week this week is, once you replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you'll start having positive results. And that's Willie Nelson. Great music, by the way. Anyway, thank y'all for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, please go follow me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music, and subscribe to me to YouTube. And thank y'all for listening. Just remember to outdo yourself and to be yourself. I'll see y'all next time.